How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I am your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Meg Rule 31. We are talking the Henry 180 at Road America, the Xfinity race tomorrow, Saturday, July 2nd. Mega, welcome to another week of NASCAR. We are kind of winding down here to the back end of the season. Just before the playoffs start. So we are trying to get wins here. How are you feeling about this slate? It sounds like, talking before the slate, we are gearing up for a really strong showing.
Yeah, it's like I'm busy. I work in retail, it's a holiday weekend, so didn't have a ton of time. So I got off work. I accidentally drove through where they're having the community fireworks display because I forgot it was tonight. So that kind of held me up a little bit longer. But, so I got home, I threw it together, but I didn't like rank the plays. But I thought, hey, this might be a cool thing. Let's as we go through the people, live, put what we think the play is going to be. So, we did talk pre-show, and I think, we came up with some good things. Unfortunately, we couldn't record it because we went through like full lineup builds, and we can't give that out because DK frowns upon that. So, although I'm very mad at DK tonight because the Yankees game got rained out like right after lock, but FanDuel, you can go in and switch your players. DK, sorry.
I hate that. That was one thing I hated about MLB the most. If there's a 10 o'clock game, just let me switch my players to the 10 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Or 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever. Just let me switch my
There were plenty of options after it was rained out.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh well. I mean, yeah, but here we're talking the Xfinity race, and Kyle Larson is dropping down for a little confidence booster.
Yep.
As I was telling you, I think this is a Hendrick powered automobile because this thing is quick. The only one to reach 108 miles per hour on the Road America track today. So I think there's a lot of Hendrick power in the 17 this week.
Yeah. And
no doubt you could see it when he got that pole, but yeah. There's another wrinkle into the chain here. AJ Allmendinger didn't qualify. So let's just start with that. We have Larson at the top, 11-8. It's pretty expensive starting on the pole. And we have AJ Allmendinger, 11-3, starting dead last, 38th, with only a braking issue. What are your thoughts on these two racers?
I think you got to lock them both in. This Hendricks car is probably one of like their old NASCAR ones, just converted to like whatever they need for like Xfinity, although probably not, because the old NASCAR ones are composite bodies, but I bet there's a lot of components in it. They probably had a lot of like really good parts left over when they switched to the next gen car, and they can't use them because the next gen car, everything's regulated. It's almost like, the Communist Party going into like the socialist store. You have to like, one piece of toilet paper on the shelf and everybody gets the same thing. It's like, but I think they had a lot of great parts left over to put into some of this car, and it seems fast, it seems solid and reliable. And AJ, was a braking issue, and they were hoping to get it fixed before they had to qualify, but they just couldn't meet the deadline for it because it was such a, once practice is over, now it's boom, qualify. So I think, definitely you got to lock both these guys in. It only leaves you 6,700. I think we figured out for the rest of your lineup, but I think we found some really good value plays that we feel good about. We found some value plays that we're not so sure about, but in the end, I think we've got some good things to offer here, and there's going to be a lot of good plays that we're probably going to talk about here that aren't going to fit in your build, but they're going to be perfect for GPP because, again, like I think Larson's the one that you would want to potentially fade over Allmendinger just because he's got the potential to go backwards. And the only thing that could potentially happen to AJ Allmendinger is he starts the race, gets a stomach ache, and like Norm Benning jumps into the car. Well, he drives trucks, so that'd be even worse. But something like that. It'd take a lot. I mean, he is starting right next to Joe Graff Jr., who's probably Joe Graff Jr. is so bad that he lost his ride in a lower tier SS Green Light Racing and ended up in a BJ McLeod car. This is almost as bad as Tate Fogelman losing his ride in truck and then losing his ride completely in a worse team.
Yeah. I was going to mention that I thought if either of the two were worthy of a fade in to play in spite of them, probably Kyle Larson, Allmendinger. This is probably going to be the highest I've ever owned a driver heading into a race in like my whole career of
you have Mr. Road Course starting last.
It's
in a good car. It wasn't like last year when you had like was it Parker Chase or who's like the Parker Kligerman, yeah, where like he didn't, when they were doing the COVID thing and he didn't have enough points to like ever qualify
at Daytona. The qual got rained out.
Yeah, and not only that, they had like the formula thing, and you never had enough points to get registered for. He could make the field because there weren't enough cars, but he wouldn't qualify good with the formula. And he started in the back, and he'd be like a knife through hot butter, and just cut like you had 5 laps in, and like, wow, he's already in the top 10. So,
right. Yeah, I'm gonna probably be 90 to 95% lineups with AJ Allmendinger. I don't know how he doesn't meet value. I don't know how he isn't in the optimal lineup. Especially with the place differential and finishing position upside. Even like he could even dominate the race from 38.
He was second fastest in practice.
Like there could be a wreck on like lap 3 or something silly like that, and AJ could make up 10 to 15 spots and then race his way to the front within 10 laps because of how long these laps are, and then he could lead like the next 30 laps and end the race. And that would be considered dominating Road America. With only 45 laps, place differential and finishing position are king. And with this play, AJ Allmendinger at 11-3 starting last, you get the best of both worlds with finishing the upside of finishing position, which could be first, and place differential, which could be, the highest possibility on the slate. So he's an absolute lock. Larson, as you mentioned, I think would be the only one you could fade in this scenario between the two. I still am going to have over 60% Larson because of just how fast the car is. Hendrick, as I mentioned, probably rightfully so behind this car. So I'm definitely all in with this combo. Ty Gibbs, typically a good road course driver, looked really good in practice. The 54 is no slouch. Your thoughts on Gibbs heading into tomorrow?
Can I just make one more point on Allmendinger?
Go ahead.
He's 25 points up on Ty Gibbs in the playoff points.
Yeah.
He has 2 wins already. I think that he can stay out or pit early in a stage. I don't think he has to stay on the same. Like, I think he can afford to mail in like stage 1, pit early,
if he can
get the track position,
then he'll do it.
Exactly. And then stay out there and, get stage points in stage 2 and then, get off cycle and be able to like win this race. So,
yeah, that's why I'm saying if there's an early caution, he'll, he could pit, he could short pit, all right, I'll come into pit. And then when the stage ends, I won't pit. Like the strategy changes. He's going to get to the front quick.
My guess is they have live pitting here still too, because Cup is here. It's not like a standalone track, right?
I don't know.
I would think so, because the only time that they in Xfinity and Truck they don't have non-live pitting is when there's not another series at the track, because they run into a shortage of, like when they did like the truck race at Knoxville, it was the only thing in town there, so they did the untimed pit stop. So I think we're good on that.
Okay. All right. So what are we giving Gibbs here? GPP? Or
yeah, definitely a GPP. Like you can't fit him in the same lineup as these two. I think he's definitely a pivot off of Larson if you want to. So borderline cash, but I think just with the volatility, he's a really good road course racer, but he also rubs people the wrong way. Sometimes he's forces the issue, and I've seen
Broadcast
him, yeah, like bingo, yeah, you nailed it. So
Old grudges.
yeah.
But yeah, Ty Gibbs, GPP. It's going to be one or the other, Larson or Gibbs, and probably going to be 70-30 Larson to Gibbs in that scenario, and then 10-20% balance or something like that when I'm doing 150 lineups. Riley Herbst, 21st is or 7,100 is 21st. 7,100, not a bad 21st in practice. 7,100.
Yeah, I think he's going to go back where it's at.
Yeah, too far forward. Don't think he's a considerable dominator in this race. And backwards, GPP to fade.
Yeah, definitely. If you've never watched our videos before, the baby blue ones are people that are above average on road courses. Doesn't mean they're elite. It just means they're better than the average drivers, better than the fields. The yellows are ringers. So if you see a guy here in white, that and Larson should probably have the baby blue on it.
I would give him baby blue. He's a competent cup driver. I mean, it's Kyle Larson.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cole Custer is another cup guy here at 10K. He was the fastest. I wouldn't necessarily call him above average, but I think just being a cup driver and a former Xfinity champion, that he definitely merits consideration up here too. It's just gonna be hard to fit him in your build.
Right. I think Custer is either a product of nobody on the track, or he's actually got a really good car with a lot of Stuart Haas backing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is a green light car, but this is the better green light car. And we've seen Custer in this car a couple of times this year. Yeah. Didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he won. Let me look at that. I'm pretty sure he won
like Fontana or something early in the season. It was like the Auto Club, was it? Las Vegas
Auto Club.
Yeah.
Second race of the year. Interesting. Yeah, I think cash to GBP is a good play. I think he's a good play because I think he might have a hot rod, and I think he's going to be a average run position inside the top 5, and I want to be a part of that in case he does finish first, second, or third. So I like Custer this tomorrow. Sam Mayer in the one car, 9K. Starting a little bit too far forward. He has been getting better. Shown some immaturity on the track at times.
He was dead last in the last road course.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any concern about him on a road course?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, I would say so too.
I'll put him in the GPP, but
because he was eighth in practice on speed. He ran 6 laps. I don't know. I think it's a wasted pick.
Which, just keep in mind, it's a really long course, so 6 laps is an eternity. It's almost like running like 40 at Bristol.
Right. I think it's a GPP to fade, personally. Only because I should be overweight on the rest of the guys that we like. All right, Creed. You love Creed here. Tell me why.
He was a very, very good road course driver as a truck driver. I know he got in an accident at the last one in Portland, but it wasn't his fault. He was actually having a decent day before that. So it was really Circuit Americas was another one. Actually Cole Custer was in Circuit of America and finished 3rd. Allmendinger won, Austin Hill was 2nd. And Sam Mayer was 5th. So wow, check that out. Sheldon Creed 10th.
Yeah, Creed. I love the price tag. I think that's what I like.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the player pool solely because of that, and top 5 finish for Creed here pays the way. 10-3 Noah Gregson.
Gotta be cash. He's very good. He's very good at road courses. Okay. He was 4th at Circuit of America. Portland, he was
In 3 races here, he's got 1 top 5,
Ninth.
3 top 10s, an average finish of 6th. You're kind of onto something here.
Yeah.
He's a top 5.
If I can get up to him, I like him better than Custer, just because
That's hard.
in an Xfinity car, and keep in mind, like if you're not super familiar here, these Cup drivers drive a next generation car in Cup. They have a sequential shifter in them. These cars still have the old clutches, still have the H pattern shifter. There are so many, they don't have the digital dash. It is such a different car to drive than it is a Cup car. It is so different also that the Cup crews are frowned upon, especially the tire changers going down and helping with these guys, because they sold the 5 lug nuts where the Cup only has 1. There's like the suspension's different, the transmission is different. There are so many different things on these cars that I think that gives Gregson an advantage over Custer. Plus, it's a JR Motorsport car.
Right. Yeah. I like Gregson here. The history on the track kind of paved the way for me here. I think he's going to finish inside the top 5. Sammy Smith here, 8,200.
It's a fade.
Yeah.
He is in
about him.
He's in the All-Star car, but he has not run any Xfinity races. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's very good at road courses from ARCA. He ran regular ARCA, he ran ARCA West, he ran ARCA East. He's run 0 road courses. So 23rd in practice. I don't know how he got up to 8th in qualifying, but they did do in 2 groups, and maybe he was in like the really bad group. So, you know, 8th, if he was in the other one, he might have like started like 28th if he was like in the more competitive group, if they were unbalanced. So he's a fade for me. I cannot see how he does good tomorrow.
Correct. All right. Tyler Reddick. I like this play. I think it's sneaky GPP play.
Yeah, I think he's only here for the practice, so he's not really a road course guy.
In a race here at Road America, in the Xfinity Series, he finished in the top 5 with a 3rd place finish. Yeah, Big Machine struggled last week in practice and in the finishing. What are your thoughts here on Tyler Reddick?
A GPP, like I said, I think he's just here for the practice. The car is okay, but I'd like it better, like speed wise, on an oval track.
Okay.
I'd like it where he can ride the walls and not try to stay on a course.
I'm thinking 21st he finished at Nashville. He did not finish well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually the root of all evil in my lineups. That's kind of what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Never mind on Reddick. Austin Hill, 21st.
He's a GPP. Like I said, he finished in the
card.
top 3 in the last one, but he's not as good as Creed when it comes to road courses.
Yeah, no, Hill is not on my radar.
Yeah.
Jeremy Clements, 6,500.
He is good. The pricing's decent, top 10. I think he is viable. I think we're gonna give him the GPP one here just because there are so many other guys that are true road guys that could get up ahead of him. But if he finishes around where he starts, then like he's gonna pay off. But I think it's a little bit risky, so I don't feel there's a floor enough for cash.
He qualified where he ran in practice, so I think that's promising to say the least, that it's worthy of a GPP shout that he finished inside the top 10. Sage Karam, Alpha Prime Racing in the 45-6100.
I think he and Blicky are they're both Alpha Prime guys here. They're both GPPs. Blicky did a little bit better in practice than Sage did. I think they probably went with 2 different setups, and obviously Blicky's was better. And then they probably compared notes and got everything tuned up for when they did qualifying. And that's why they qualified almost in the exact same spot, in the same spot where Blicky was. That's what my guess is. Cram is a really good road course driver. Blicky teaches people how to drive road courses, which doesn't necessarily mean he is a great road course driver. I know a lot of marriage counselors who are divorced. So, you can't always see the forest through the trees.
Nice. Good analogy. I like Blicky over Karam if I'm going to have to pick one.
Yeah,
Brandon
probably
Jones.
the pricing there. Yeah.
Yep, with the price.
Brandon Jones, I would say, is a fade here. This is not
Okay.
his type of course. He's practice was 22nd, 14th again. Might have been he was in a worse group than some of the other guys that like qualified, because like the one thing that mystifies me is if you look at like Daniel Hemrick was 6th in practice and he qualified like 22nd. So was there like, and again, I didn't break it down. I don't know who was in group A and group B, but it seems like there was like a really tough group and like a really easy group.
Right. Could just be on the wrong side of the wrong group. 10-2, Justin Allgaier, dominator of last week.
Yeah.
PPP.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's a GPP. I mean, the place differential's nice here, but just like looking at road courses, like he doesn't really pop in. Yeah, he was 5th in Portland. Let me just check the Circuit of America one. If he was top 10 there, then he might get cash consideration.
In 3 races here at Road America, he has an average finish of 17th. I think it's a fade.
Yeah.
fade.
I don't. Yeah,
I'd
was running, so he didn't like wreck or anything and finished 33rd at Circuit of America. So yeah, I'll put him as
coming off a dominating win.
I'll put him as a GPP just because of who he is, the car he drives, and the place differential. But I think we're right in saying that like he's GPP.
He's taking this week off.
Yeah, he's orange here. He's between yellow and red.
Yep, he's a tweener. If you have him in a few lineups, sure, but don't go crazy. I like Gregson and Custer more. Josh Berry, not really on my list.
No, he's got to be a fade. He's only 33 or third in practice. He might have been in the easier qualifying group, and that's why I got up to 16 here. But he's learning, and I think eventually road courses will start to come to him. But this is only his 2nd year. He doesn't have many of them, and it's not his style, and he has struggled. So
I'm not seeing him on much of the history page.
27th after starting 25th at Circuit of America. So
all right, Moffitt and LeBay here. I think we can lump these two together. 6,800, 7K. I like Alex LeBay personally.
I think both of them you can play in cash if you can get to them. It's just gonna be you're like, and that's scary. Right. That's right in the range of the guys that you're pricing, because we said it's about 67. So you're gonna have to find some guys that are a little bit cheaper than this, but I think these are guys are kind of in the sweet spot if you're going with that Larson Allmendinger lineup.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. LeBay average run position in practice about 18th. Average finish here 18th. So he looks like he's primed to finish where he starts. Brett Moffitt, another guy that looks like he's about to finish where he starts. I like them both.
He was 7th. Moffitt ran really, really well at Road America.
Yeah,
this is Road America at Circuit of Americas.
Circuit of Americas. I knew what you meant. Anthony Alfredo, can we lump him into this?
He was 13th there. Let me see where he was at Portland. So that's a decent result. Like he's definitely been disappointing this year. I thought that he would really have a strong showing after like losing his ride and then coming back and getting in a decent one. Maybe not 31, but he was involved in an accident again. I think that was like the same with Creed, where it wasn't his fault. Wasn't it like somebody else took them all out? It was like Connor Mosaic or somebody like. So
not sure.
Yeah, I think he's fine there.
Castle 8,100 is too expensive.
Yeah, GPP if you can.
Yeah. Pardis is on our radar for cash. He was close to a prime play. 6,600. Really good ringer. Always finishes near the top in these races.
The car is just a little bit sketchy.
Yeah. The 91 doesn't have much success. 6,600 is a difficult price tag. Daniel Hemrick's 8,800.
This is pretty much an enigma. he's not a great road course driver. He's not a bad road course driver. He was good in practice, but again, maybe he was in the really hard group, and he's like the one that's making me think that. So I'm going to give him a GPP just because when I think road courses, I don't think Damaro Hemrick necessarily, but I think that well, I mean, he was 11th. He did finish actually 6th at Portland. And let me check Road America here. Maybe he's going to turn green here. Let's see here.
He missed the cut and then finished 3rd.
He was 25th. Okay, so he stays green. He stays yellow.
Andy Lally.
Very experienced road course driver. Just really, he's one that like always is there and like always looks promising, but just doesn't ever get to, where he needs to be. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about him. GPP, especially because he's in the 8. He's not in the 7. He's in the worst green light car.
2 races he's finished 5th and 9th, or top 5 and top 20. Average finish of 9. It's not bad,
but that's just at that track. Like it, he wasn't. He's been in some better cars though.
7,900, I think, is a stretch.
Yeah, GPP.
Kyle Weatherman.
I think we can consider him in cash. He's probably going to start and finish pretty much in the same spot. He's in the Joshua Inua car, which Joshua Inua was horrible and it couldn't qualify and actually like fell backwards every time. But we've seen Weatherman actually do decent in this. So I think at 5,100, he's definitely somebody that you might need as a cheaper person to consider.
Miguel Paludo at 85. That's a little too expensive.
Yeah, and he's in the Junior Motorsports 88 car that like Junior is going to drive, or did he drive it already this season? Or
yeah, he always does. Martinsville.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's a good combination here with his car and this. And he's the perfect driver for it, but just the pricing and just how they looked in practice was just not good. So GPP, and I think he might be one of the first guys in my GPP lineup because of the place differential and the namesake and the car and the potential here, but he just does not fit in a cash build at all.
Yeah, he's in no man's land. Ty Dillon in the 6. I hate this car for Ty Dillon.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like
he's gonna make the most of it, but man, it's
16th in practice, like 77. I'm gonna give him a GPP, but he's very close to a fade. If you look up his Xfinity numbers, yes, he had a top 10 average finish at road courses when he drove an Xfinity, but it wasn't in a JD Motorsports car. It was a much better car. If you look at his Cup experience here, his average finish was like in the low 20s. So I don't expect much from him. He's not even in Cup, I don't think so. It's not even practice, but I just think he's trying to get relevant again in the sports and trying to showcase his talents in all different tracks and styles to maybe catch a permanent ride next year. That's not in a JD Motorsports car. Maybe he'll move up to a JR Motorsports car.
Yeah, the JD Motorsports car really does it for me. I hate that 6 car. Like,
yeah, the 4 is much better than the 6.
And I don't like either on road courses, so I'm kind of just out. GPP to fade. Ryan Sieg 7,400.
This is kind of surprising because he's been decent.
Really?
On road courses, he finished 11th. Road America.
His history, yeah.
But recent form hasn't been great. So 28th in practice, that's exactly where he's starting. 74 is too high. So GPP if you want to take a swing at him, but I don't think he's really one to consider.
3 races, he has an average finish of 14th with 1 top 10. Will Rogers, 5,700. I've landed on him in a couple of different builds. I wouldn't say he's the worst play in the world. As last man in, I could understand it, but you're giving up a lot for him starting 28th.
Yeah, I think he's a GPP, and you know what Will Rogers is now that we don't have Austin Wayne Self in here, or not Austin Wayne Self.
I said the country singer.
Yeah, now Tommy Joe Martins is producing the band, and he is now going to be the lead singer. So GPP. Okay, we're down to our 10-minute warning here. So we
Yeah.
both agree Chris
Right.
Dyson is the
It's
worst play on the slate.
fade. Worst play on the slate. Bailey Curry.
I think we can say a
Fade.
GPP for him. He's in the better fade.
I don't have his practice times look terrible.
Okay. Josh Williams, here was the bone
Here
of
was a
contention.
debate.
He is the cheapest guy.
He's gonna be cash.
Yeah, he's got to be a
Yep.
cash play just at his price. He is a good road course driver. We fear he might start in part, but we don't think so because there were cars that did not qualify here. And I believe he does have a sponsor. So I think that he's safe to play.
Yeah.
But there is some risk here. So just know that. So just don't automatically plug him in after you pick your first as your fourth guy in, because we'll give you who our third prime guy is. He's coming up here in a couple.
Right.
But don't put him as your fourth guy in. Pick your fourth guy and then decide if you want Josh Williams and see who else you get. And if you're happy with it, then go for it. He's really can't lose you that much. He can only lose you 7 points here at most, which I mean it is significant, but even finishing, let me see here, bonuses 38. It's built in for a 40 car lineup still, so you're at least going to get, I believe, 3 points at 38. So you're going -4 is the worst case scenario there. And if everybody else you hit because you played Josh Williams, then you're good.
Yep. Next up, Myatt Snyder in the 31, 7,800.
Expensive. He's been decent at road courses, 24th in practice. I think there is some upside here. You can get ahead of Dyson. You can get ahead of Curley, probably possibly Sieg, Dillon. So he probably about 5 places I see him moving up. So I think he's doable.
Just hate the price tag.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick Gallagher.
Yeah, we really like him looking at his history.
Is that what we came to find?
Yeah.
Here? Road course.
Yeah, I think he should be yellow. So
I think he should be yellow as well. The debate we had was Williams or Gallagher. And I think we're both comfortable with either one and swapping them out for different leaders at the top that aren't our prime plays. It's kind of what we're looking at as far as an optimal build, and both these guys in the 4K range. And there could be some lineups where you try to go both 4K lineup guys, and then try to squeeze in all these 11K guys, make sure you get all the most points you possibly can. But I think Gallagher as a road course guy in that RSS racing team, that 38, it's constantly on the track. What are your thoughts on Gallagher?
Yeah, I kind of like it as a Sieg car here, which I'm looking to just verify. Yeah, this is a Ford. It's not a Toyota. So I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah, it's Ford.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's definitely it's a solid car, and Sieg doesn't, or that's Sieg only has like 2 cars in this.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're not overextended this week. They should have plenty of resources. I think it's definitely, I think he's the safer one over Williams, but like you said, they could play either. Right. So now we've come to our third prime play. We think if you're looking for value, that Jeb Burton is the lock here. He is not a road course guy, but he was decent in practice. We think he was in the harder group, and that's why he's down here. And if you look at all the other garbage that's around him, he can definitely probably move up at least 10 places. If he doesn't, he's not going to hurt you at 5'8". The worst he can do is lose 4 points, but he gets 3 points for finishing 38. So -1 is the ultimate lowest thing that he could get you. So we really like him, and if you play him in one of these 4K guys, and it can maybe get you up to get a third 10K guy in like Custer or Gregson, or Allgaier if you want to go with the place differential there. So it definitely opens up a lot.
Yep. John Hunter Nemechek, 8,600, starting
No,
35th.
he's
And
never been a really good
let me
road
see.
course guy, I don't think.
No.
So
30th in practice.
yeah, he just wasn't good.
Yeah, I think I think there are possibilities where you try to play him just because of where he's starting, but I don't know, 8,600 is rough. Brandon Brown, 6,800. I think he's GPP.
Yeah. And then this
And
is
Brock is a fade. Yep.
yeah, hell no.
Hell no, he said. All right. Any last thing before we go?
No, I think the only thing to watch here is like if you're gonna like try to play Cole Custer or something and he has to drop to the back of the field.
Yeah,
I don't know how like passing is here. So I mean, if you see any of these like top guys have to like drop back because of an adjustment or something and start from the back,
it changes everything.
right. I think we're okay with if it's like Custer or Reddick or like a guy that's not racing for like a championship, because again they're easier for them to get off. Like if Kyle Larson would probably be the best example to go down there, that he loses a lot of value there because he's not going to lead early. So you're going to have to kind of flip your whole line. And if you play him and Allmendinger, then you're going to kind of like maybe hope that Riley Hurst gets ahead of Gibbs and is the cheap guy and goes out there and leads the early laps before the cream rises and the rest of them catch them and get up there. That might put Gregson in a better position or Custer in a better position. So that's the value of this is like, first of all, sign up for FSIDFS and come to our site because we like cover all these things for you. But if not, we always, like at least in baseball, I try to throw up some updates in the video. So lock tomorrow's like what, sometime in the afternoon. So
yeah. Let me get the exact time, which is 2:30.
yeah, so like around 2 o'clock, if anything crazy happens, we might throw a note in the video. So come on back, check it out, and see if there's any updates.
All righty, guys. Yep. Thank you, Mega. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is at MegaRuler31. Like this video, comment below with any questions, comments, concerns, and enjoy Road America and your 4th of July weekend. We have a cut video likely coming out tomorrow.
Both of us or one of us, somebody will do something.
Somebody will have a cut video for the 4th, the 3rd of July race on this 4th of July weekend. I said that a time or two too. On this 4th of July weekend. Yes, thank you again and enjoy Road America.